On July 14, 2016, the Utah Court of Appeals issued its decision in the case of In re G.J.C. Here is the link to the complete decision, and we've included that same link in the description section of this video report. A mother appealed the juvenile court's denial of her petition to terminate the parental rights of the father. The Utah Court of Appeals concluded that the juvenile court's decision regarding child's best interest was against the clear weight of the evidence, and it reversed the juvenile court's order and remanded for the juvenile court to enter an order terminating the father's parental rights. Although the juvenile court found 5 grounds for termination, it ultimately determined that termination of father's parental rights was not in the child's best interest. On appeal, mother raised several issues challenging the juvenile court's determination that not terminating the father's parental rights was in the child's best interest. In particular, she argues that the court's decision was clearly erroneous and against the clear weight of the evidence. The child's guardian ad litem similarly argues that the juvenile court's oral and written findings are correct, but that as they stand, the findings can support only a determination that termination of parental rights was in the best interest of the child. According to the guardian ad litem, the juvenile court, quote, erred in its choice of findings to rely on, close quote, by relying solely on, quote, inappropriate factors, close quote, in its best interest analysis. The Court of Appeals agreed and determined that those issues were dispositive and did not address the mother's other arguments further. Whether a parent's rights should be terminated presents a mixed question of law and fact. Because of the factually intense nature of such an inquiry, the juvenile court's decision should be afforded a high degree of deference. Thus, in order to overturn the juvenile court's decision, the result must be against the clear weight of the evidence or leave the appellate court with a firm and definite conviction that a mistake has been made. Further, when a foundation for the court's decision exists in the evidence, an appellate court may not engage in a reweighing of the evidence. The Court of Appeals stated, quote, we recognize that the decision to terminate parental rights is among the most difficult of decisions, and we will not substitute our judgment for that of the juvenile court or reweigh the evidence. But we agree with the child's guardian ad litem on appeal that, quote, the juvenile court's oral and written findings as they stand can support only a best interest determination, close quote, that termination is appropriate. We also recognize that termination leaves father's family without a remedy and less of a chance to be involved in the child's life. But mother and her parents each testified that what they want is best for the child, and the evidence supports a termination of the father's parental rights. The Court of Appeals further stated, quote, we will not engage in a reweighing of the evidence, but even viewing the evidence and the court's findings with deference to the court's more advantageous position, we conclude that its conclusion that termination is not in the child's best interest is against the clear weight of the evidence and leaves this court with a firm conviction that a mistake has been made. We therefore reverse the juvenile court's decision not to terminate father's parental rights and remand with the directive to enter an order consistent with this opinion. Close quote.